Hello and welcome to this YouTube presentation on the Introduction to the Information Architect. My name is Charles Richter and I'm the Principal Consultant for Ripose Pty Limited. In my first YouTube presentation, which I introduced the Ripose technique, I mentioned that I would be delivering a number of presentations on the responsibilities of the various classes of IAs. In this presentation, I will describe what, in my opinion, an information architect is. I will then identify the four classes of IAs and then proceed to define the responsibilities of the information architect. So what exactly is an information architect? I googled the word and the closest reference I could find was Wikipedia's definition of information architecture. So I added the words "an information architect is a person who is capable of," and I also replaced the word "things" with subjects and objects, and hence arrived at the definition that states an information architect is a person who is capable of expressing a model or concept of diverse subjects and objects used in activities that require explicit details of complex systems. Now, it would appear from this definition that the information architect is a complex individual, analyzing and describing complex organisms. However, by using a well-known technique of analyzing a complex object, example divide and conquer, it should be plausible to describe an information architect in terms of their subcategories or their classes. So my first task was to identify what I understood an information architect ought to be in context with the roles that industry standards appeared to define. So Googling the word industry standards, I found a Wikipedia reference which stated, "A technical standard which may be developed privately or unilaterally, for example by a corporation, regulatory body, military, etc. Standards can also be developed by groups such as trade unions and trade associations. Standards organizations often have more diverse input and usually develop voluntary standards. These might become mandatory if adopted by government or business contracts, etc." This gave very little solace, but perseverance on my part led me to conclude that the four classes of information architect were: 1. The business architect, who is business-centric; the business information technology architect, who is both business and technology-centric; thirdly, the technical architect, who is technologically centric; and fourthly, the test architect, who examines the results of technology to ensure that the outcomes meet the conceptual business requirements. And test architects are mainly business-centric, but do need some technology know-how. So what are the responsibilities of the information architect? Well, the responsibilities are as broad and deep as the definition, namely those of a person capable of expressing a model or concept of diverse subjects and objects used in activities that requires explicit details of complex systems. So what are some of the diverse subjects and objects of a concept or a model? Well, to begin with, in my previous presentation, I mentioned the three phases any idea needs to traverse in order to prove or disprove its veracity, namely the concept, the logical, and the physical. Therefore, an IA needs all the skills to develop all the IPOs, or input processing outputs, in order to deliver a favorable outcome. The responsibilities of the IA are: 1. Develop the conceptual business requirements, or the corporate plan, also known as the strategic plan, and deliver a proof of concept. Secondly, develop the logical business requirements, or the proof of logic. And thirdly, develop and test the physical business requirements via the proof of physical. This means that the IA needs the skills of all its classes, namely the business architect, the business information technology architect, the technical architect, as well as the test architect. Hence, to become an information architect takes time and experience. However, with the right training, a dedicated person could become a good information architect, or a Ripose Architect Grade 0, in 1 or 2 years. As far as I am aware, there are no university courses that cover the breadth and depth of this mythical person. However, Ripose has the courses and the abilities to train the first three classes of IAs. These courses can be delivered over the internet using the features of Skype, one of which enables the participants to view the screen of the lecturer. Now, the next series of presentations will cover the responsibilities of each of the IA classes. In closing, I would like to thank you for viewing this presentation. The PDF of this presentation is available at a small fee should you want to assist us further the aims of Ripose.com and especially Ripose.org. Now you can find the aims of Ripose.org on www.ripose.org, and you can reach me by sending an email to charles.richter@ripose.com. The next lecture or presentation will cover the topic of the responsibilities of the business architect. Once again, thank you for your attention.